Welcome back to the Exoracing channel. We are on episode 2 of our 500 horsepower Turbo Hayabusa powered little van. Behind these doors is a really excited Matt. He's going to show you all of the things that he's been up to. See you in a bit. We're back out on the little van and working our way through that massive list. We've had a few bits arrive over the last couple of days, so let's run you through what's turned up. So we've got our radiator pipe, just started to mock up what that looks like, so that's what we want to get done this morning. The seats have been delivered to the trimmers. They're going to redo them, which I'm really excited about because they're going to look cool. In the meantime, we'll keep going. I'll put you on my head and then we'll see in a bit. Right, time to make a start on these radiator hoses before this camera gets too hot and turns off. With this running a top hose from here, obviously this is a 35 to 25 reducer, which is going to go on the radiator there. Then we're going to run that in 25mm pipe, and then that there is going to clip straight onto that thermostat in there. The next one we've got to get onto is this one here, which is going to run down. We're going to mount our little water pump, but just for the minute, we're just going to get the pipes in place, mock it all up so that I can get it to where it needs to be, and then we'll just tack this onto the cage, which I think is going to be the best thing, which means I have to get my welder out, which is not my favourite sport, but hey ho. This one here is slightly too long, so I think what we'll do is we'll cut that one there. Yeah, that's better. Punch off that end as well, eh? I think that looks not so bad. Clamp on there, clamp on there, clamp on there. Top hose done. Let's have a look at the bottom hose. That's not liking that, is it? It's not liking that at all. What about bringing it down? No, that sucks even more. Love it when a plane comes together. Let's keep those lines high. That's fixed on. M6, M6, M6 there. Handiest little kits if you're ever building a car. These have been absolutely priceless on both Kevin and now on this. That is our rod done for that. We've got our clutch all mounted. Now we've got to try and work out what to do with this radiator pipe, which is going to run all the way down to there. So we're going to do like an arc to get onto there. Now I was hoping to wiggle it through that bit and then straight down onto the pump, but it doesn't look like that's going to work, which is a real pain in the ass. So I'm not sure how we're going to actually do this now, but this is what a dry build's all about, is trying to figure it all out. The time that big bracket goes in there, picks up on that. 90, 90, 90. I wonder if they make like a Z pipe. 25mm radiator Z pipe. I very much doubt. So I think what we'll do is we'll get, oh look at that, that's exactly what we need, but they're all rubber and that's going to look stink. So we're going to end up running that 90 down into another 90 down into another 90. Let's get back on it and then order some more bits. We also need some more of those straight connectors, so I'll get onto that now. In the meantime, let's tackle that bottom one down there. Hoping you guys can see that. We've got another 35 to 25 joiner. I don't know why everything's going to come in a plastic bag. But what's wrong with just sending that? It's got the sticker on it. So let's shorten that down to about that. That is awful. And then in this little bag, straight in an angle. Get them on there. That was easy. Something like that. So then we can put our 19 to 25 on there, run a straight bit of hose, and we are mounted. 19 to 25mm straight, 19 to 25mm there. Don't think we're going to need them to be that long. Like that. Right, the only thing that we've got to plumb into there is a heater system, which I've completely forgotten about. So I've already got some heater pipes. Oh yep, here we go. Another straight one. Love a shelf. All of that was for that. See, these are the T7 design ones, which I get through Exo, because Matt's legend. Let's see what they're like on the silicone hose. And once I find the other one of them, I'm hoping that they will simply be able to be cut into that and then fed down. I mean, that works really well, doesn't it? Do the same on that side. I wonder where my other heater hose is. Yeah, that the heater hoses are going to end up being the highest point in the cooling system. There's one of the heater hoses. There's the other of the heater hoses. So that one there I think will run, don't know, maybe just make that hose a little bit longer. Something like that. So I thought since we're here and I was having a coffee, just mount this up and just see what it looks like. So I've got my little clutch stick and you can see here that as we push the clutch in, you can see it pushing the shaft in just like it's meant to. Now whether or not there's enough on that, I don't know. I've had to guess. I don't know if it's going to work, but it's all in and it all functions, which is the most important bit. It's just whether or not there's enough throw in that way in order to disengage the clutch plates on the front. I need another set of hands. If I had another set of hands, I could probably I could put the drive shaft on, put the foot on the clutch and see if it rolls without any bite. If I think it's probably adjusted a little bit too far in, but we'll loosen all that off. So you loosen off the locking nut like so, and then you should be able to unwind this screw, although that is ridiculously tight. There we go. And then that has taken all of the tension off, or is meant to have taken all of the tension off this bar, which is meant to spin in your hands, but it ain't. Wonder if that's because the alignment's out and we're actually bending that bar a little bit. Let's loosen those. Just wonder if these are slightly out of alignment. So with that loosened completely off, you can see now we can spin that bar. What we need to get is we need to get this tightened up in a place where you can still spin that bar. Because we've loosened the worm drive all the way off, let's see if we can tighten one of these up. And it still spins. Yep, still spins. So then we'll go to the bottom one. Alright, still spinning, still spinning, still spinning, not spinning. So yeah, I think we're slightly off in our alignment of those bolts. Because if I loosen that one off just a smidgen, this will start spinning again. Yep. Oh no, there we go. Can still spin it now. Can still spin it now. Still spinning it, and that's tight. And I can still spin that. So then what they say to do is tighten up this until it contacts, which is there, until you can't spin it anymore. And then go back a quarter of a turn, and then tighten your nut up. Let's use our clutch tester. It's functioning, and it functions the way we need it to. So, yay! Thinking juice. Oh, it's a good day. I love a box of Exo parts. So, we've got some silicone heat sleeve. That's for the turbo drain pipe. This is for the coolant lines, the oil feed to the turbo. Oh, that's a steel cable tie. This is a wastegate blanket. Now, not ever being a turbo guy before, because this, truth be told, this is actually going to be the first turbo car that I have ever owned. Whee! So, this little contraption is a wastegate blanket and a turbo blanket and receipt and a whole bunch of fittings, fixtures, seals and goodies in order to put it all together. So, it's the afternoon and my wife is going out, so I don't think I'm going to get a chance to do anything on it, which is really annoying because whenever you get new parts, all you want to do is put them on the car. But it's already been a long day. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon and we've been going at it. Managed to get my hair cut though. Chop. Tomorrow morning, I reckon we start working out all of the little bits that we were talking about this morning and get some dry fit assembly done. See you then. Good morning. Was talking with Matt yesterday. He's like, your engine bay temps are going to be massive. I'm like, no, they won't be that bad. He's like, yeah, they are. So we're going to do something about that. And we're going to start today with this. Now, this is the exhaust manifold. I've never done any type of exhaust wrapping or anything like that before, but we're going to do that. We have fitted the smallest little turbo blanket that he's got, which looks pretty cool. We've got a wastegate blanket, and now we're going to do that and try and get through these exhaust headers. I've watched this video on YouTube on how to do it. I have all of the bits except for a pair of scissors because it turns out we don't have one. So I'm going to just use a really sharp daily knife and get into making this all look better. Now I did a bit of a test run off camera last night just to see if I could actually do it, and I think that turned out okay for what it is, but these ones and the collector are going to be the fun bit. So plug you guys into my head, make sure you can actually see me, and then we'll get into it. So the GoPro overheated just as I was doing the first clip, so while it was cooling down I thought I'd do the rest of the clips. They look okay, I'm reasonably happy with it. So one part of the puzzle done. This thing here was an absolute godsend. That is a must. All of the other hacks and everything like that on YouTube don't work. Get one of them, it's badass. Right, now for the easy bit. I really don't want to wrap this. I've never had a really nice, well actually that's not true, Kevin's exhaust is awesome, but this thing looks incredible and we're going to go and cover it up. I don't know, I don't think I can do it, just can't do it. If it gets too hot I'll do it then. I've got turbo blinker, it's got the manifold, so I guess we might as well just throw the manifold back on then. Got a really horrible habit of not closing drawers. Does anyone else have that habit? I just open all the drawers. Yesterday, I didn't close the drawer. The van was back on the ramp. I had that top drawer open. Bloody exhaust tip and collapsed my toolbox down. Love my little heat management drawer. Got exhaust wrap, sewing sleeve, gold blanket, silver. I like the gold, but it doesn't go with my branding, which is a pain. Got just a little gold touch because I quite like it. Oh, yes. Exhaust wrap is only going to make this job way harder. Every action has a reaction. Because of where I've put the wrap and the ties, it is really, really tight to get the nuts on. So I'm going to struggle away down here for a bit, and then I'll let you know once it is all done. Alright, so I've got all of the back ones on and snug. Oh, it's good to get off your back, isn't it? Oh gosh, that's so much easier. I did find helped if it's in the wrong place, is you can actually still, because the tape's wet, you can actually still, oh, you mongrel. That one's going to be a pain in the ass. I really hope this doesn't have to come off again. Luckily for me, my copper slipped all these threads when I put them on up at Ollie's. Oh yeah. Right. Thank goodness gracious for that. So let's get on with the turbo first. What a mission that was. I'm going to go make a coffee. I think this looks quite tidy. See you tomorrow. Welcome back to the 4 AM club. What we're going to get up to today is build some lines. So here is my pile of stuff that we need to build some coolant lines for the turbo. So yesterday, because it's 4 o'clock in the morning and I can't make too much noise, what I did is I've set out 2 of our little lines. I have cut them to length so we know exactly what the fittings are going to be, and now we're going to install some of this silicone heat protection and we're going to heat shrink the ends using this stuff. Now I've never done this before, so come along, have a look. It's coming along so good. This thing's going to be a beast. Let's get into it. Now what I've got to do is try and fit some of the sleeve. Now we've got 2 sizes here. This one here is going to be for the turbo oil drain, because I want to get something over that. And then we've got the 2 coolant lines, which are going to run here and here. And I'll show you how they connect. And I'm hoping, with a bit of luck and a prevailing wind, that is just going to slide lovely over it. Coming together. Need some dash 10 to make that turbo drain. Yeah man, it's gonna be wicked. I can't wait. God, I hope the rest of the drivetrain holds up. Well, there's only one way to find out, isn't there? I have got a backup option. It's just like a lot of money, and I don't have any more money because I spent it all on this. That'll do, donkey. That'll do. I'm such a muppet. So we're just running through our list, and I was like, I swear to God I would have measured that right. So I was planning on notching out that yellow bit there so that it'd clear that bolt. But as you can see, I had the frickin' thing upside down. So all I needed to do Let's just turn it over. And then I just need to get a little straight connector. But I do think that forward is going to be back and back is going to be forward. But who cares? It fits. Yay! We've had some goodies arrive. First delivery from Whole Shot Racing. And my hoses didn't go so well. So here is the stuff which is starting to make up the paddle shift system. What we're having to do is create a pneumatic system which is going to shift the gear lever manually as opposed to electronically. Here is what we had delivered. We've got this massive as tank. This here is the air compressor. These here are the solenoids, and that is the majority of the system. We've got to try and work out where we're going to locate it on the engine, but we'll do that in a bit. Also, what has arrived is our little paddle shifters. Now we've got a little bit of a problem that these could mount directly to the steering wheel, but where the steering wheel is, and if I mount them in there like that, you can see how close that is to the steering wheel, and that's not going to work. So I've bought like a carbon fiber sim racing thing which will mount in between the boss of the quick release, and that's going to bring those paddles down to where they normally should sit. And I reckon I might even try and get some bigger ones of those ends. But that's a really like nice bit of kit. They don't look particularly complicated, but gosh, they're expensive. So we've obviously got one for the positive to go up gears, and then one for the negative to go down gears. We're waiting on the auto blipper, so that also runs off the block. Everything's ECU controlled, but it needs the air pressure to do a physical movement of a device. We're waiting on that to turn up. Jack's working on all of that at the moment. Legend. That man knows so much about Hayabusa engines. It is unreal. He goes really fast with them. The other thing that arrived is our little Plex dash, which until you turn them on is pretty simple. It's come with a USB cable, an SD driver, and a GPS aerial. Now the reason why we went for this dash is because it has a really high resolution GPS, which means that we'll be able to use that for traction control. So what I want to do is use the GPS. We'll find a way to route it up and probably put it on the roof, and we'll use the GPS as the front wheel speed, and then we'll get a drive shaft, an 8 magnet bolt to the drive shaft unit with a pickup sensor, which will do the rear wheel speed, and then that will give us traction control, which I suspect we might need. Interesting that it came with a USB cable, because I've looked through this and gone, oh, there's no USB ports. It's got that little bronze fitting there for the GPS aerial, and it fits so lovely inside here. So whether or not we mount it in there like that, which gives you a real nice clear view of sight, or whether or not we bring it forward and mount it similarly like we had. I think I like it back there, but I'll have a play around with that a bit later. You can still just get over the top and see the indicators. I reckon that's cool. They've also given you like a, here's perpendicular to it, where you need the line of sight. Be really nice for that to be plugged in so that we can actually work out what the exact location of it is. But in order to do that, I need the seats mounted, and the seats are at the trimmer. So while I'm mucking around, let's go and have a look and see what the guys have been doing at the trim shop. Right, so we're down here at Southwest Sewing because we've got a really exciting little project that the boys have been working on. So, hello.
Hello.
In your own words, who are you and what do you do?
Well, my name's Brad. I'm the owner of Southwest Sewing, and we do vehicle interior seats, boat seats, static caravan seating, you know, you name it, we do it.
And how was this?
Pain in the bum.
What was the biggest challenge?
It was the foam. The foam was rotten pretty bad on both, on the driver's side especially. Yeah. So yeah, we built it all back up again and, you know, made it good.
Yeah. So this one here is the driver's seat. I decided to
We bought this from, have you ever bought this fabric from someone before? From these guys before?
Not that multicoloured one.
Yeah.
We have had recaro fabric in before now and stuff like that.
Is it genuine recaro fabric, or is it just?
I don't think it is.
Someone making it.
I think it's somebody making it, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Because the other recaro fabric I've had wasn't made like that. It's a different fabric.
Yeah.
So it could be. I don't know.
It feels pretty durable though. It's way more robust than what I thought it was going to be.
Well, when it turned up, it had like a plastic backing, and I was like, wow, this is really different. But you know, we glued scrim foam behind it to pad it all out and everything else, and it came out all right.
So this is real leather, as opposed to what 90% of people go through, which is a vinyl, right? So leather's hard.
Yeah.
But way more durable.
Yes, and you know, you have to check for blemishes and things like that, because obviously it's a cow, so you get scratch marks and whatnot where they rub up against wire fencing and stuff like that.
Or in our case, we were looking at this going, this hasn't really got any, like if you look really closely at it, but it hasn't actually got a huge amount of texture to it.
Grain.
Is it grain? Is it? Grain's
yeah.
what it's called. Oh, they look so cool.
Like I said, not quite finished yet, we've got a little fettle with it.
When you say fettle, what does that mean?
Well, just sort of manipulate it to make it fit a bit better.
What are you not happy with?
I just want to get rid of this, and it's just a little bit here. Just a little bit here, which I just want to try and take that in. I want to take that in.
Make it tighter?
Yeah, make it a little bit tighter.
Because will the leather relax on it, or will it get tighter?
It will get tighter, because with heat, it shrinks.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So it gets... So obviously, sometimes what we have to do is we have to heat them. After we fit it all, we put a hot air gun or steam to heat it up to get it to
shrink it down,
to get it into the right places.
Oh yeah, cool.
It's quite a process, whereas you don't have to do that with vinyl so much.
So like, will that, like all of that rippling where you've been manipulating?
Yeah.
Once you've hit that with some heat treatment, that you reckon that'll taut and tauten? Is that even a word? Taut.
Well, the thing is, when you got an inside curvature like that,
it's going to naturally do it, right?
It will do that. See, when it was fabric's a lot softer, so it fits better. But this is more, it's more rigid.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't work the same as a fabric.
Yeah.
But it's just the way it is.
I love them. They're so freaking cool. Look, it's way taller. We're going to have a problem there, but who cares?
Just don't drag your ass over it.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
Of course it is.
A lot.
It happens with all vehicles. Every vehicle, after a while, the driver's seat, the bolster, where people get in, obviously you slide your bum over.
Yeah.
It happens.
Oh, yes. I love that recaro fabric. I really hope they're going to look as good in the car as what I think. Not quite sure they're going to match my little orange pool ball, but wanted to try and bring in some colour into this thing because I'm a colourful type of character. Onto the hoses. We tried, well, there is no one else here. Hello. I tried to make a hose for the turbo oil drain. And it's a lovely little fitting. I think it looks quite cool. You know, it's typical AN-10. That didn't work. So I think for this couple of hours this morning, I think I'm going to start focusing on this. So what Jack said is this needs to be as close to the shift solenoid as you can get it, so that the lines, because it just runs little push fit hydraulic lines. These are like the little, it's like a little piano. They're like the little quick release buttons that they've got on it. That runs into the tank, and the tank and the compressor can be mounted wherever. So we'll probably end up putting those two on the flat bed so that I can have a look at what space I've got between the shift solenoid, which is down there. Ooh, hello. The shift solenoid down there, and I want to try and get that solenoid block somewhere around here, so that it's nice and close to the throttle blipper and the shift solenoid. So let's mock all of that up, see what that all looks like. the things I've struggled with on this is it is currently 5:30 in the morning and everyone's asleep, and I don't want to make any noise because waking the kids up at 5:30 in the morning is not a good idea. So I think we'll leave the drilling. It's really going to depend on the noise of that compressor. The whole point of this is to try and keep the inside of the cab quieter. So the inside of it is way more quiet, bro. Way more quiet, bro. Some things are going well, some things aren't going well. So the things that are going well is more and more bits are arriving every single day. The things that aren't going well is not enough bit are arriving at the right time for me to really make some proper progress. So I'm having to move on to the next step, which is a real pain in the bum. Put this down for a second because we've got a problem with the oil drain. So let me set you up and then I'll show you. The camera doesn't really do it justice because the camera's really wide angle, but there's the drain, there's the fitting I need to get to. It doesn't matter what fitting I put on there. So like there's a 90, by the time you screw that up, that doesn't work. 45 does the same because that's too short. So Scotty suggested put some barb fittings, and I just so happen to have, because you can see there straight away, it's just too short. Sorry, I'll get my hand out of the way so that you guys can see it. Like the fittings are just massive. But like even putting that on there and only have one of the barbs, but even that's not going to bloody work. It's just not going to work. The fittings are just too big. So that's like the only real snag that we've hit on this is that. So moving up top. So yesterday we were talking about mounting that, and I stopped drilling the holes because it was making too much noise. So I have fitted that. I've also got the tank out of storage. I'm just trying to work out now what the go is with where everything's going to lay out. So I did have everything laid out. Like I had this fuel pump over there like that. And then I've got my fuel pressure regulator, which I was going to put up there. And everything was looking okay. For example, if we had it set up like that, so that runs through that wall, then I can run my return line into here, feed line into here, everything works. But then the fuel pump has got a dash 10 running down to the back of the pump, and there's a return line as well, which means that all the fuel pumps and everything are coming with the engine cover. So if we ever had to get rid of it, I'm going to have fuel pouring out the bottom of the tank. Hopefully in the next few days we're going to have ECU wiring loom, because it'd be really nice to get that in before like final mounting this stuff, because I'm worried that I've never seen one of these ECUs before. So Jack used them all the time, and you know, Jack said they're awesome, so happy days. But like, where am I running the terminals to? I don't know. I could be putting everything right where the ECU's meant to go. So I'm going to drink some coffee, stand here and stare at it for a bit, and try and work out if how I've got it all set up is going to be the best way of doing it. But I'm not going to film that because that's going to be boring as hell. In a bit. Wonder how much noise that fuel pump's going to make. Probably lots, I'd imagine. I think what we might do is take that whole assembly, mount it like that, and it might give us half a chance to take some of the noise out of the cab, because I was just thinking about it going, do you really want to have a whingy, whiny old fuel pump blasting in your ears all the time? I'm like, no I don't. And then we can just go off that 90 straight up into the fuel rail, which means I don't need that lovely billet bulkhead fitting. It gets rid of my fuel pump problem. So the feed will go from there down into the floor, under everything, over the diff, down into here, and then we'll run a 90 from there off the chassis rail straight up into that straight fitting there, which will work lovely. And then the return we'll do that into there, into our bulkhead fitting, which won't be a part of this assembly anymore. It'll just be that one. So we'll drill that out, tighten that up, that'll be good. We'll then run our fuel pressure regulator over there, and then run from there, wiggle around, back down into the tank. I'm not going to mount the air side, but I am think I'll keep this area here for electronics so everything can go around the other side. Right, let's get this all marked out. Can't drill any holes because it is 4:43 in the morning. Don't think that's going to go so well. I think we will leave this fuel tank back here. I have sort of spun it around and put it up in there, and I've put it closer and put it back, but a little bit of weight hanging right off the back of this thing's probably not going to be such a bad thing for weight distribution. Only other thing, while I was crawling around under there, when I was bouncing up and down a second ago, it's like, I wonder how much clearance I've actually got between here and there, and the short answer is not very much. So we may need to do a mark and some angle grinding in order to get that further away from the tyres so that when we go over a bump, it doesn't cut straight into our brand new tyres. Yeah. Sorry, family. I'm gonna wait for the kids. We want like something 20. What was that? 23 mil. If I get a M8, God that's hot. Oh, I don't know. I don't have any M8, whatever these are called. I could drill those out. That would get us to the point where an M8 bolt will go straight through there and it'll finish something like that, which would work bloody lovely. Which means that I don't have to weld it, and I can do the same for my water pump because I've been putting that off because I can't weld. So if I get some M8 countersunk bolts. Countersunk? Yeah, let's call them countersunk. And then that is a good solution to mounting fuel pump and the fuel filter onto there easily just by drilling some holes and putting some rib nuts in. We like rib nuts. So E goes with E. But while we're here and we're drilling, we might as well drill both. That's the top for that. Away, Matt. One, two, three. Oh, there. 4. Right, so now that we've hit that snag, because I can't drill that hole because it's too bloody early in the morning. I can't fit the pump because I'm waiting on the bolts. I think what we might do now is just start nutting out the location of the fuel tank, because it's going to get to the point where I'm going to need to sort this out. I've ordered the little insulation stuff to go under here, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue the insulation down, then I'm going to put that on top, and I'm going to lay the floor over top of that glued to the metal, and then I'll cut out this tongue here so that this section will be separate to that section. Should be able to then pick the whole thing up, including all of the wood, twist it, drag it out the door. Well, that's the plan anyway. I think I should be okay. That distance there is quite long compared to that distance there. Let's get on to the fuel tank. I'm thinking of mounting it way back there because A, that's a filler point. We've got the breather point, return line here, and then the breather point's over there, and then I can just drill a hole straight down. We've got to work out exactly where we want it. As far back as possible is probably the likely scenario. We'll give ourselves a little bit of room off the back door, but not too much. Something like that. And then what we can do now is try and work out where our hole is for that hose to go through, and then I've got to work out underneath. Pretty happy with how that's sitting. Oh my goodness, I'm too big for this. Too big, too fat, and too old. So let's just mark that real quick so we don't lose the location of it. So that's coming down through there. What's underneath that? Bolt bracket and a spare tyre, which is never going to get used. Reckon that spare tyre might have to evacuate the situation. Wonder how seized this is. Wait for it to snap. Actually feels okay. Well, that's something that not happens every day. Maybe we will be able to keep a spare tyre. Oh, wicked. Oh, yeah. That can't come past our exhaust. We'll have to work that off in order to get the tyre. More noise. Can't do it. Well, I'm glad I let this out now and not on the side of the road somewhere. Just get the angle grinder, bop it off, down, and we're moving on to the next step. But as it is 5:47 in the morning, I don't think I'll do that. That wouldn't be very kind of me, would it? Well, there's the next snag. Can't do that. What I want to try and do is get us a datum point to work off. So we'll set the laser up. Half a finger, a whole finger, half a finger, and on with that, half a finger, and on with that. Whoa, 2 fingers. Into the fitting is 305 mils ish from the laser line. So when we get to 305 mils in from the laser line, what is above it? Right on that dirty big ballast by the looks of things. But wonder what. Oh, you're losing you. Oh goodness, don't do that, Matt. I might have to do this bit without you guys, I think. That's not going to work. If only I could get the spare wheel down, I'd be able to work out a spot. We flipped the tank around. Well, we've got one less exhaust, and fuel and exhaust don't like each other. More thinking. See in a bit. So, change of plan again. If I was to take this and mount it internally in the engine cover over here, then we can have return line running into it, and then like I said, it can go down, run both of them down there, spin the tank around 180 degrees, and then have both of them running down there, one to the fuel pump. That's it. I think that is the most simple way of doing it. We get there in the end. Right, I'm gonna do that now. See you in a bit. So, just real quick to see if my little theory is going to work. So we've got a couple of the, not even sure if you can see that, or if the light's too much. I'm just not used to filming during the day. But they are the two pump hangers. Oh yeah, that's lovely. A little rubber grommet. Come on, you mongrel. Yeah, right there. And it's gonna go something like, I won't put them all on because cannot believe how well that's gone. That is awesome. I love it. Yay, finally got something almost done. What a bloody mission this is sometimes. Fuel pumps mounted, new bracket pending, probably 45 there. I've got one on the bench. And that's the fuel pumps finally mounted. Yee-ha! Bloody hell, check me out. It's daylight outside and I'm in the workshop. What's going on? It's normally meant to be 4 o'clock in the morning, but my beautiful wife has gone out to the cinema with her friends, or the movies as we call it in New Zealand, and the kids are watching a film. Right, well, since we had such great success with mounting these, I love that. You know, sometimes you just do stuff and you're like, that's cool. Since our little riv nut trick has worked so well, I think I might just whip that off real quick and see if I can't drill it out in place. Although putting a riv nut in there is going to be a right pain in the oh, well, let's have a look and see what we can do. So, come along for the journey. It's really funny. I'm lucky enough to have a ramp in my house. Look at it, it's built into the floor. See those buttons over there? They make it go up and down. But yeah, I still find myself crawling around on the floor. Must be something about being at one with the floor. I also took the spare tyre out because I could make some noise. What that has shown me is that under here, look, you can see there's a whole bunch of massive, they look like concrete blocks sitting under the rear end of this. And I've got no bloody idea what they are or why they are. So before we go and do that, I might try and drill the hole first, because then that's noisy bit. What I might do is just try and take one of these out and see what the hell they are, because they literally just look like weight, which this van doesn't need. Well, in 5 minutes we'll all know. So I wonder if I can set you guys up over here. Oh, look at that. That's a 14. How lucky are we going to get with a 14? 1, 2, 3. Oh, bloody hell. Well, that was way heavier than... Holy shit. What the f*** are they there for? I cannot believe that. I can't believe that. Look at this. It's metal. Wonder how much that thing weighs. Oh. Oh, bloody hell. That's got to be 10 or 15 kilos, I reckon. So I reckon there's 50 kilos. Absolutely mental. Bundle. That's solid. No, it's not. Oh my goodness. 65.8 kilograms of metal just sitting there. Is that like raise the ride height up like a foot? No. Can't believe that. That's absolute madness. Why on earth? Right, I gotta go and Google that. Why on earth is there 66 kilos worth of stuff in the boot of this? Right, I'll speak to you in a bit. Lead weights are sometimes put into the rear of a van, particularly in a rear-wheel drive van, to increase traction in slippery conditions by adding pressure to the rear axle, which can improve grip and handling, especially when the van is otherwise empty or carrying a light load. Turns out it's for traction. We're going to struggle with that. That genuinely baffles me. I cannot believe that's how heavy that thing is. It does alarm me a little bit, because that, from what I can gather, is like 15% of the weight, or 10% of the weight of the van. I think they're about factory, they're about 740 kilograms out of the factory with the original engine in it. And the motorbike engine is significantly lighter. I mean, we could end up with something that weighs 700 kilos full of fluids, which would be badass. But it's not important. We're not here to do weight reduction. We're here to do cool stuff. So let's take that engine cover off. I want to get that water pump rev nut in, because then that's another thing that's off the list. Is it just me, or is it when you do your own car build, when a delivery van turns up outside, does anyone else just get like ridiculously excited? So what we have here, this is a thing, and I'm not sold, but all of the other ones were super expensive and I couldn't afford it. Maybe that will work. Nice piece. So I've got my 30mm bit of M6 bar. Please just work. Please, 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 just work. Look at this. Flex, flex, neutral. That's so good. Woo! Right, next job. This is a real gamble, this bit. Really not sure if this is going to work, especially with all the little buttons on it, but I thought, they're cool. I wonder if I can put the horn on it or something like that, because obviously we don't have a horn button. Oh yeah, that's better. Not really sure how I feel about that. And then I think we'll just trim all of the rest of that crap off. Obviously got to keep the bottom bits, but just trim all the buttons and everything off. And that was significantly cheaper than what a racing car one was. And then we got a quick release. Look, it's not, let's be honest, it's not great, is it? But for what we need it for, I'm stoked. We've got a gear stick that works. We've got paddle shifts that work. Next thing I'm going to attack, I think, is that dash. But from a shocker this morning to a not so bad finish. Still can't believe we took 65 kilos. I have to check that. Is it 65 or 56? I have to check the footage. I can't remember. But anyway, I'll get back into that. See you guys in a bit. Not sure about these pedals. What do you think? How do you feel about the positioning of them? They're in probably further than what I would like. But I actually don't think. I guess once the seats are in, we'll be able to have a look at what the mounting position feels like when you're actually sitting in it. And I think then that will determine how we go from there. So I think let's have a look at fuel lines. So we need to spin the coolant around, and I'm pretty sure that's going to live there like that because it fits nice. So that'll go there. It's higher than the radiator just, and then we'll shorten down this to that length, so that that there fits nice onto there. So we need to take about 100 mils out of that one. Or do we attack this bloody wiring? Do you know what? Fuel lines are easy. Let's attack the wiring. Oh, it'd be easy with that in the air. Fuel lines are easier. What do? Do you do the easiest job first? Or do you do the hardest one first? I think let's just work out exactly what fuel hose we've got out of our box of stuff. That looks like it's long enough. I wonder if that's dash 8. That looks like dash 8 to me, doesn't it? That must be a PTFE fitting. PTFE, PTFE, the other stuff. PTFE, I don't think I've got any dash 8 PTFE. What's that? Surely that's it. No, that's too small. let's get one dashboard mounted. I was just playing around and having a look at what the ergonomics are. So that's forward for the forward and reverse box, and then that's backwards. So that's a nice position. You can tell that it's forward. That's in there nice and solid. It really did annoy me. I should have taken longer and put the number 5 facing the right way. No special for number 5. I just like the orange. So number 5 it got. Right, I'm going to just have a quick disassembly. I'll mark up some of this stuff. Push this in the place where it's, so that the little P is center of that little divot. And then we'll get to making up some brackets for it. What am I going to use there? Is that under here? The only real big stuff I've got is that stuff. So we need some aluminium strap. So my fuel lines turned to custard because I didn't have any bits. So I was like, right, what can we actually do that I know I've got everything for? So I've started doing the sound deadening because it's a job I've been avoiding, not as much as the wiring, because I probably should do the wiring, but let's do the sound deadening first because then I feel like I'll achieve something. So I've done some really awkward bits up and behind there. This stuff's really simple. It comes like this. It's a multi-layer foam, then it's got some aluminium, and then it's got like a bitumen layer with some sticky stuff on the back of it. They give you a little roller to flatten it all out, but I'm going to put this stuff down, and then I'm just going to contact adhesive the carpet to it. Hopefully that will make a big difference to the noise. I could carpet under there and just paint that black, then carpet over top of it, then paint that because that's staying now, and then put all of that back together, all painted and lovely. And then I'm going to do the top and the bottom of the seat bases. Also going to whip all of these door cards off, do inside the doors, because listen, like this one's fallen off anyway. There's just nothing in it. It's like a big drum. So here is the sound test. So we'll see if it makes a difference. Consider subscribing to Matt's channel. Not that I'm sure he's going to do this type of video again, but he's just a bloody nice guy. Anyway, see you in a bit. You're doing this earlier. Drawing. The 2 bits out, then we can have a look.
So that wraps up episode 2. Make sure to come back next week. It's going to be absolutely crazy and I think you guys are going to love it. We will see you then.
Pew pew. Come with me if you want to live.